Our next speaker is the Minister of Tourism and Heritage for the United Kingdom. Now, just 2 weeks ago, I was at a conference where the Minister received huge applause for being one of the longest-serving ministers in this portfolio in the United Kingdom. Just 2 years. But the applause was certainly, I think, well-founded for 2 reasons. One, because continuity in terms of our political leadership within government is very important for an industry like ours. But secondly, also because in John Penrose, we do have a very sound minister who works very hard to champion our interests within Parliament. So John, please come and join us. Thank you for coming.
Well, Ufi, thank you for those kind words of introduction, and thank you for inviting me here this morning. You're absolutely right, Ufi. I was told that I'm now the longest-serving tourism minister this country's had for years, which just proves that if you start with low expectations, you can exceed them quite easily. Can I just pause, though, and add my thanks to Ufi and everybody who's been involved in both setting up this event and sponsoring it and supporting it, and to all of you for being here today, because I think what all our speakers so far this morning have rightly pointed out is that this is an industry with huge accomplishments, huge potential, huge achievements, and it is long overdue that politicians, but also the wider body politic and all the other industries in this country as a whole, woke up and took notice of it. The fact that I'm here as tourism minister and we haven't really had somebody who is tourism first and foremost and other things second and third for a very, very long time in this country indicates that now we have a government that gets it in this country, but also, as Ufi was rightly pointing out, we are not alone. This is an industry that has potential around the world, and other governments are noticing it too. And that's helpful for those of you who represent international companies, and many of you do. From a governmental point of view, it creates something of a challenge, because what it means is that the competition, ladies and gentlemen, is getting hotter, that other people out there understand the potential of this industry too, and while it is great news that I have supporters and allies right the way across Whitehall here in Britain to make sure that we can get things done on behalf of this wonderful industry, it's also true that other countries are moving fast too. The example was given of President Obama, who's personally gripping much of the agenda in this area in America. And he is not alone either. So governmentally, we need to make sure that we are not stopping, that we are building on what has been done over the last couple of years, and that we need to continue if we can. But the good news is, of course, that this growing international consensus means that people do understand the wonderful opportunities which our industry has to offer. Not just at a personal level. We heard just now about a lady who is starting off on her career, learning how to be a top-class hotel manager, but wants to be an entrepreneur in due course. And the industry is riddled with, seeded with, full of people with those kind of ambitions, people who either want to carry on and learn about an industry which can take them right the way around the globe in international companies, big corporations, which offer unparalleled opportunities, or who want to become entrepreneurs, strike out on their own, create wealth from very small beginnings, and create rivals to all the excellent organizations I can see in this room. And that's great too. But it isn't just at a personal level. The reason why other governments, including ours, are getting very excited here is that tourism and hospitality and the visitor economy more broadly has a superb track record of not only driving employment and jobs, but also being an extremely efficient financial generator of growth. And we've all been seeing on our TV screens some of the things that are happening in other parts of Europe, and the eternal quest for growth, which has become ever sharper and more important over the course of the last few months and years. That incentive, that imperative, ladies and gentlemen, is not going to go away. It is going to become ever more tough. And the great news is that we're in an industry that helps, that does it with greater financial efficiency and at a faster pace and more effectively than many, many others you and I could both name out there. And therefore that gives us an edge, and it also gives us an in when it comes to persuading people that our industry deserves attention and also deserves help. Now, what does that mean that we have to do here? Well, one of the things that I have spotted over just 2 years in this job, but as somebody who represents a seaside town, somebody who I hope is hugely biased in favour of this industry, one of the things that I have observed is simply this, that there are enormous number of things which governments can do, but I would say this, wouldn't I, as a free market conservative politician, but I strongly believe it to be true in any case. There is only a limited amount that government can do on its own, and as we have already had pointed out to us so far this morning, and it's entirely right, this has to be a partnership, ladies and gentlemen. This has to be something which government is a support act, but you, your organisations, your companies, your staff and others like you right the way around the country and right the way around the globe, you are the lead act here. You are the main event. You are the people who actually create the wealth, who create the jobs, who drive this industry forward. And it's up to government to help, to support, to get out of the way sometimes, to do what it can, but we are a partner with you. And part of identifying that this industry is a crucial, bigger player than perhaps it's ever been given credit for in the past, part of that realization in governmental terms is a change of attitude, a change of the way that we interact. In the past, this industry has either been undervalued or, alternatively, has been ordered around by politicians. And ladies and gentlemen, that's just wrong. That is clearly, palpably silly. You collectively, and perhaps many of you individually, know more than any politician can possibly know about the way to drive growth in this industry, about the way to achieve the goals which we all want. It's up to me to try and make sure that Whitehall doesn't stop you, that Whitehall helps you where it can, and that Whitehall does it in an environment where there's no money. We all know there's no money. We all know the constraints that are out there. We've all seen the pictures of what's going on in Greece on our TV screens, in an environment which is extremely tough, but where we can help, then we will, and we have so far. So, after 2 years, I feel like we've got a job part done. We have made, I hope, what is an important start in many, many areas, but we still have an enormously long way to travel. We have started to get rid of some of the red tape which holds back the organisations that you work in and which you run. We have got further than many previous governments have ever done. We have got cabinet commitment to abolish a whole slew of daft and silly regulations while still keeping the ones that are essential for health and safety and other crucial points to make sure that customers have a wonderful and welcoming experience when they come to the UK. But getting cabinet agreement is one thing. Actually getting rid of the darn things is another. And we're only part way through that, ladies and gentlemen. We've got rid of some, but I've got a long list, and it's been agreed to. They can't stop me, but my goodness me, sometimes it feels like they're trying. It's a job part done. I need to move forward on this, and many of you here in this room have been tremendously helpful in doing this, in helping me do it, in creating the environment of pressure and pull and concern. And I need that to carry on, please. I need your help, because otherwise we won't get it done. Equally, many of you are partners in co-marketing operations which Visit Britain and Visit England are organising right the way around the country. You are, many of you, international travellers, and I hope, therefore, when you have visited Los Angeles or New York or San Francisco or Paris or Shanghai or anywhere where there is a major conurbation, other world cities in the world, you have been unable to avoid seeing advertisements for Britain is great this, Britain is great that, trying to make sure that Britain is on the map and that we are combating some of the potential problems of displacement which any host nation faces during the Olympics. Equally, those of you who are normally resident in the UK, and since I'm pretty sure everybody here is in my target demographic, I hope that you will all have seen at least once the advertisements for domestic tourism with Stephen Fry and many others, and if you haven't, please tell me afterwards, because I shall go and kick our advertising agency, because we jolly well should have done. But many of you are partners in that process. Many of you are co-marketeers, you are co-funders, you are commercial partners, and we value what you're doing. And those of you who aren't, let me tell you, I think the co-partners are doing very well out of this. I jolly well hope they are. They should be. And if you're not, then come and talk to us afterwards, because you're missing out, and there are lots more opportunities like that too. But it isn't just those kinds of things either, ladies and gentlemen. There are many, many other things that we need to do. We've already heard visas being mentioned a couple of times, and in fact the recent T20, and I think Talib Rifai, who you're going to be hearing from later on, will be talking to you about some of that. The recent T20 meeting focused very strongly on visas, and I believe it's now likely to be raised at the next G20 discussion, the heads of government around the world. the concept of improving visas and making sure that it is understood at all levels that national security and a good welcome are not alternatives, they are indisputably two sides of the same coin, and making sure that message is understood at the very highest level has gone international, ladies and gentlemen. We have made a start in this country, we still need to go further, another job that is part done, but many other countries are getting that message too. So I will stop there because I'm conscious of time, but I just want to leave you with this message. We have got quite a long way, but we have a heck of a lot further to go. Government has changed its approach to this industry, I hope in a constructive way, I hope in a supportive way. But it is an approach which requires partnership, and many of you here in this room have picked up that challenge, have picked up that baton, and are taking it on with government. Thank you for all you're doing, therefore. I need you to carry on doing it. I need tourism, I need the visitor economy to take the lead and to start pulling government along in its wake, rather than what perhaps in some cases has happened in the past, where it's been the other way around and government hasn't understood the importance of that relationship and has thought it could lead instead. You are doing it. This conference today is evidence of your willingness to do it, and perhaps a new development in the way that you can do it. I applaud that method. I applaud that energy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the most amazing summer ahead of us here in Britain. We have the most amazing set of events here in front of us here in Britain. The world will be watching what we're up to. They will be forming opinions about our country, whether we like it or not. If we do this right, those opinions will be good ones. If we do it wrong, they will be not so good. But like it or not, those opinions will be formed. We have a huge opportunity to create a lasting impression, a lasting legacy over the course of the next few months. Together, I hope we can crack it. Together, I'm sure we can deliver it. And ladies and gentlemen, let's send a message out to the rest of the planet when they're watching what's going on in London and Britain over the course of the next few months. Britain is a great place to see, a great place to visit. Come on over and join the party. Thank you.